Great. So 3, 2, 1, go. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci Cup 8. I'm joined again by MarchWaden for some co-casts. We're going to jump back into the group stage, and then we'll have our Steam Key giveaway in just a moment after this. Say hello to the people, MarchWaden. Always fun to have you here.
Hello everyone.
No, I said say hello to the people. I didn't say hello everyone, alright? Come on. Come on, man.
Hello people.
There we go. Games today going to be between myself and A-Game, first of all, here. This is going to be from the group stage, of course. It's going to be a GVG, actually. I wasn't expecting this one, so this is pretty cool. A-Game has the pick first, and he picked Gaussian, and I chose to match it. This is a matchup we don't see very much, though. What do you think about the map, MarchWaden, about Firebase Krill?
So Firebase Krill, it's obviously difficult to defend the expansion in most matchups. And it's very important that you do so, because you can very easily be sieged down if you don't.
Looks like, actually, A-Game is going for ref mode first, by the way, so he's retired his base runner here. Which means he has the timing a little bit faster than me, too. This is kind of interesting, though, because especially in GVG, a matchup where you expect a lot of action, you might be afraid that you'll just get rushed to death here, especially against me, because, you know, it's me, so...
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of this scanner placement. It's safe, definitely, to not risk the base runner running into a production cruiser with sand skimmers coming out of it, but it doesn't let you know what he's up to, and you know, so you miss the ability to hamstring his greed.
Yeah, so my idea here actually was that if he was gonna go for some kind of a rush, his PC would move around through the middle. So, like just to the right of where that scanner is, yeah? So my thought was that this would actually hide the information from him, so he would know what I was doing, and then he'd think it was a rush, and I could get away with a bit of greed here, so... Although, actually, yeah, so see, I got 2 salvagers before I started a sand skimmer fab here. We do have some skims coming up from A-Game now, but... I'm not sure if this was really worth it. It was kind of an interesting idea, but I'd love to hear your thought on that.
Well, if you know that he's greeding now, you know that he's greeding, but you have a weaker greed than his because you kept the base runner.
Yeah, exactly. But he might not know, it's my thinking that, he might not know that I'm, like, going for greed, because he might think, you know, because he didn't see the base runner, that it's gonna be a rush, but,
Okay, so you can produce the salvagers before finishing your sand skimmers this way?
Yeah, and he has built a bunch of skims, so I think it kind of worked. It worked to do what I wanted it to do, I'm just not sure if that was even worth it.
So it did, yeah, exactly. It did hide your greed, but okay, now he thinks you're doing something aggressive and he's responded defensively after he's finished his greed.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten the damage done that an offensive build would do, and you haven't really got the units to defend your greed, so...
True, yeah. So maybe this isn't worth it after all, but I do have the second PC started first, so like maybe this is actually okay. I just have to not take a bad trade in the midfield here, which, you know, that's kind of my specialty, so we'll see about that.
It's just a little bit slow, this build, I think. Like,
yeah.
If it was just a bit faster, it'd be worth it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm gonna try to use base runner heal here, but this is not gonna work, so that's probably just a dead base runner.
And it looks like you got, pop blocked as well.
I don't think so, actually, but maybe. That is also my specialty, so it could definitely be so. I do have railgun fab started at least, though, so I'm gonna be able to match A-Game's soul chips here. The question is, though, is A-Game really gonna be that much later on to 3-base? Because the thing is, now I have to defend. Yeah, it doesn't really look like this has worked out too well to me. I guess another thing to point out too, though, is that like I really can't get any scouting on his side of the field here either. He's getting some armored unit defenses upgrades, which is kind of nice. That means he is going to be building them too. But he could go into air here, and like I wouldn't. Oh yeah, look at that. He just clicked on air tech. Yeah, and I'm not really going to be able to see this, so that might be a problem for me. Looks like a little fight here going to come out. Or going to happen underneath my carrier. He wants to get a couple salvager kills, but I don't think he really can here. He still has the sand skimmer in the backline, though. I wonder if I forgot about this guy, or if, No, it looks like I didn't. Gonna send 2 skims back to deal with him. That skim in the back, just casually spying. Making me pull off is pretty huge. Yeah, you're actually right about that, A-Game, because that does actually slow things down quite a lot. And Interceptor Fab, only about 30 seconds out. Because I don't have any scouting, I'm probably gonna have to go into blind anti-air here as well.
So I like the second production cruiser. I don't like the attempt to get onto a 3rd base with it just yet.
Right, so instead to take it out to the front line and attack is what you'd like to have seen.
Potentially that, or just unlock the carrier.
Right.
And, like, start extracting with it.
I should be able to hold these skims off of the top there, but with their high ground, they do manage to trade 1 for 1, so not bad for A-Game. I think neither of us have upgrades, right? Yeah. But like I was saying before, you know, I do kind of have to go into anti-air here because I don't have any scouting. So you can see missile ship tech is almost done for me now. And A-Game building interceptors already, so it's nice for me that I have this tech, but, well, I guess I'm not sure what I'm even saying here, because if you go blind anti-air and your opponent does have air, maybe that's okay for you. A couple skims gonna scout out the third base, I will see that A-Game is on it too. So my ploy to get faster eco than my opponent, I think, has really only kind of worked out. How do I say? Like, I've gotten onto 3 base too, but about at the same time, and he's got the control of the field, because he's up on my side. So...
yeah.
This might change here, though. Maybe a bad trade for A-Game if he pushes on this. He's gonna back away, though. That's wise. Interceptors are out for A-Game already. They're gonna launch, too. But the skims are gonna see this pretty early, right? No, actually. Okay, the skims don't get vision on those interceptors. Oh, they do now. So I'm gonna see the interceptors, but I'll be happy. I already do have a missile ship on the way, so that's not bad for me. And actually, Base Runner's in kind of a nice position to block as well. Missile ship goes for barrage there on the skims, does get some damage, lands 1 hit on the interceptors as well. Yeah, this is looking okay to me so far, but I haven't certainly gotten ahead like I was hoping to. And A-Game going for Siege as well. Siege is going to be pretty good for A-Game here, I would assume. Interceptor's going to clear out those sandskims as well in the back line. Bit of an interesting trade here, but the assault rails should be able to melt the assault ship before too long. I might lose skims for this, but I will manage to get A-Game off of this position here. So yeah, the initial trade's looking out kind of nicely, but I guess I would say A-Game has a tech advantage because I can't really move out across the field here when A-Game has got, obviously, air. I need to keep my units with the missile ships forever, and he does have Siege coming out too, which is kind of a nice answer to rails, so...
We're also looking at a pretty large float of RUs.
That certainly never happened. Yikes, that's very big, actually. Wow. I don't remember this happening in game. I guess because I need to, like, rebuild skims here, right? To have, like, a blob?
I don't know. I always find myself floating RUs as the Galcian.
Yeah?
And I think it is their reliance on the sand skimmers.
Yeah, you're probably right. A-Game actually floating a lot of both, actually. He's got, like, 1,300 CUs here. Look at this.
His ratio is much better than yours.
Yes, it is.
As far as, like, what he can spend.
Yeah, he can spend that a lot easier.
That's the perfect ratio for carrier power, AAVs, assault cruisers.
Assault cruisers? Well, that would be impressive. But I get what you mean. Like, he can go into Siege for sure here. He can go into bombers even if he wants to. He's got a lot of options. And he is going to make me pull off the main base as well.
Sorry, not assault cruisers. I mean honor guard cruisers.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sorry, they're both the anti-scammer thing, so...
I guess honor guards are sort of like anti-everything, aren't they? I mean, I can't think of anything they're bad against unless you control them poorly. By the way, quick shout out to honor guards. Best unit in the game, let me just say. And that anti-air upgrade, oh. Even if you lose the game, you win the game if you got honor guard anti-air. A-Game gonna dodge that missile ship barrage there. I don't think I've hit him with a missile ship barrage in like almost a year now. He's gotten pretty good at dodging that crap. This might not be a good trade for him though, because obviously the base runner heal is here. Well, it depends if the skims can get by onto that third base though. They might actually just want to run by here. Looks like he wants to take the trade though. He doesn't want to lose the he doesn't want to let me extract here. Actually, yeah, what am I talking about? He's gonna kill all the sand skimmers there. The assault rails, I suppose you'd say, are not long for this world. He does have that upgrade advantage, so not hard to see how he's managed to win that. Siege is out as well now. Barrage comes down. Yeah,
I think he wants to
right
into the rails here without having upgrades for your skimmers.
Yeah.
Or if you're gonna go that heavy, you at least need armor on the rails, I guess.
Missile ship barrage actually manages to land for once here, but it's not going to do too much because obviously not really a whole lot to contest these skims here. And they've got high ground too. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're just going to instantly delete those assault rails there. Getting the extractions out at this point seems like a bit of a fantasy, of course. It didn't land? Okay. Oh, this one will land though. Hey, look at that. I managed to kill a skim. Nice. That's what I call value. And A-Game now taking into railguns as well. Note that he's only just now building his third PC, so he hasn't had his carrier unlocked this whole time, but he hasn't really suffered for it at all, has he?
So, some slight spoilers for one of our games, missile ships... Missile ships and siege cruisers have quite the interesting interactions.
Yeah, they do. It's really actually fun to see. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch when we get to that game too there. By the way, I love what AGame is saying in the chat here. 1.5k RE Bozo can have a real nice retirement. I'm kind of dying here, I'm not going to lie. AGame going up for an attack on the third base, by the way. It's going to pull me off here. You can see assault ships actually being produced now.
What I would really like to see here is honor guard cruisers. If you get one of those on like the high grounds, that will totally shut down those blocks.
No, you're totally right. The honor guards would be a really nice choice here, but at this point I've kind of waited too long. It's gonna be hard to get up to that tech. I know this is kind of an interesting moment
that's
here.
The other thing is like you could also go max carrier power and hypersonic missile barrage on those siege cruisers.
Yeah. Also on fleet cap, look at this. Never seen that before. But this is a bit of an interesting moment here. I'm going to leave a couple skims back to guard the assault ships, because obviously that blob actually could kill them if they're on their own. But I catch the siege cruisers on their own here, but they did actually have their health and armor like changed from last patch, and I wasn't quite aware of it. So
yeah.
They took a lot longer to die here than I thought they would.
You're also, definitely not going to be able to like kill siege cruisers without the damage upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. Because these are skims with rating, but they don't have any damage, so... And then I kind of wanted to go back in here, but I wasn't sure. And then the base runner heal came out, so I chose to go out. And then the EMP came, so I had to dodge it by going back in. So all in all, I'm stuck in here for a really long time. I didn't manage to get any kills here, and I lost a lot of skims for that one. Looks like Interceptor Fab actually gonna be the choice for me now. That's kind of interesting. I mean, that might actually not be too bad, but just no time, right? I mean, this is kind of too late to be getting that tech.
I think just, like, right now in GVG, CUs are honestly more valuable than RUs, paradoxically, just because...
Yeah.
Once you get behind, you need CUs to rebuild salvagers, you need CUs to rebuild sand skimmers. Assault ships need CUs primarily.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Carrier power still has a better ratio of CUs to RUs than the others.
Ooh, that EMP does a lot of damage to carriers, actually. Oh yeah, look at that, I'm gonna GG right there. Because, like, my thought was, okay, maybe I can make something work here if I can base trade with him, but he seems to have enough defense on the back line. Siege Cruise is gonna bully the carrier out, I'm gonna see, yeah, I mean, if I go back onto my base, there's nothing I can do here, so... That is gonna be the game right there. And, as is unfortunately not terribly uncommon to see, it seems like AGame really just has the upper hand for the whole game this time, but, never fear, I'll certainly beat him in game 2, right? Let's go ahead and load that one up.
Alright. And I'll pause it at 29:55.
Indeed. Base runner retire won the whole game, legit. Oh, you might be right, honestly. But partly that's because I was going for this really silly kind of, like, am I doing ref mode, am I not? You know, sort of a funny type of build there, so. Of course, as we know, Bozo doing funny builds definitely does not end on game 1. So, you know, you should expect me to see me doing something a little bit silly here on game 2, which is going to be on Titan Passage. Actually, I didn't write that into the info.txt, I've just fixed that now. But for game 2, I have to pick first. I'm going to pick Galzian, and AGame responds with Soban, and then as I said before, my map pick going to be Titan Passage. Are you on 29:55, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So yeah, what do you think about the factions on this map? Obviously,
so, this is Titan Passage?
Yeah. Oh, Aurora Borealis.
It's hilly, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely seems like a rail map, right? I mean that's without saying.
Like, it seems like a very interesting map for like rails versus siege cruisers.
Yeah.
Because there is enough cover that I think siege cruisers aren't completely inviolable.
Yeah, actually, I recall a game I played a long time ago against Discara. This is actually in Vanilla, where siege usually can't be used, but I managed to make like siege cruisers work on this map. It was kind of interesting. Just because, like you said, there are a lot of hills, but there's a lot of cover too. If he wants to move between hills, me having siege there just makes it really, really difficult for him. But my thought on this game for sure was going to be to go for a rail rush though, And I was thinking too, if I could pick out this this probe here, maybe he wouldn't know this was Rail Rush, especially if I give it a backward move order right now.
Ooh, I don't like a Rail Rush on this map because the way that if you look at the curve of the hill by his base, it looks like it's going to be blocking rails to try and sit there.
Yeah.
In that dune.
Actually,
so you're going to have to like almost be playing at the edge of the map.
Yeah, that's actually exactly the idea. We're going to go behind his base here. So this is kind of something unique you can do on Tight End Passage, and you can see that targeting jammer. Actually, this is to block that particular strat. Yeah. I've done this before, so like it may be a little bit too predictable, but the idea was actually to go like behind the bases here and then do a Rail Rush from the main base. The only problem is that like if this does fail, I think the shape
He's
of
got
that
carrier
dune there,
production upgrade and LAVs already. Like,
yeah, see, he seems to know
you.
what's going on. Yeah, exactly.
He's got your number before he's scattered everything.
Yeah. And now he saw that scanner, of course, but he probably knows, like, I mean, I've seen Bozo do this before, so this is probably not going to be too surprised. Yeah, A-Game in chat here. You've talked about this strategy literally every time the name of this map came up. Surprise strat. I mean, yeah, that could be fair. Okay, but get this, A-Game, alright? What if you think it's gonna come so much that you don't think it's gonna come, and then I do it anyway? Think about that. Railfab actually... Railfab already coming out of A-Game here, so yeah, he definitely knows what this is. Gonna get the confirmation now, he sees those skims, he knows what's going on, alright?
I think this strategy takes too long to execute. Like it's too long of a distance.
I think the distance is actually... Yeah, the distance is actually probably okay. The only problem is that, like, if I keep the base runner to make it a fake, then obviously he's gonna know. We are gonna get a salvager kill, it looks like.
I think the distance is... Maybe I'm not overestimating it, but it certainly looks like with the extra curve that you have to put into your path to sneak behind.
I guess my thought is that like it doesn't necessarily matter exactly what the distance is on the rail rush because the pressure comes once the rails are out. So I kind of am okay with I'm kind of okay with taking like a while to get there because until I have the rails I wasn't gonna really pressure anyway. LEVs here, by the way, want to go in for a bit of a trade now, but there are assault rails to block. This might not go well for me. Yeah, one assault rail is going to get killed right here, but he can't push any further. I don't know, that was probably a good trade for A-Game, but it's pretty close. The big deal, though, is that, of course, if he can kill off assault railguns, he definitely alleviates a lot of pressure from himself here. Sandskimmer armor upgrades then coming out very early for me. I do have that second PC almost done, so we can continue the rush if we want to. But the problem is that he's been on 2 base pretty much uninterrupted this whole time, so... I believe at this point I was already kind of planning on going back onto ref mode, but if I could get this next extraction out, I knew that'd be big.
Yeah, I'd say go back into ref mode after you get that extraction, and then carry your power.
Yeah. Try and make sure, you know, I'm not just going to get pushed out by my opponent. But you do have to recognize, though, on this map it's interesting, if you can get that hill by your opponent's third, both sides have this, you actually have high ground attacking your opponent's third, so it's really, really hard for your opponent to get back into the game from there. Bit of a bad trade, by the way, maybe being taken by these skims. Yeah, they definitely shouldn't be trying to fight here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is a Bozo throw for sure. Well, I don't know if you can call it a throw. I'm not exactly ahead here, but definitely a bad trade being taken by me. Assault Rail's gonna get jumped on as well. The base runner will probably get out though, and I do have ref mode on the way, so we're gonna be able to transition up onto 3 base. Yeah, it looks like this extract will get out, so that's kind of nice for me.
I feel like retreating those skimmers almost wasn't worth it there, because I feel like if you threw them into the grinder, like they'd at least get some trades for the assault rails.
Yeah, like when the assault rails are still alive, yeah, you might be right. Because normally that's how, you know, if you didn't know, that's normally how Galzian wants to trade with these kinds of things. And by the way, you can see the carrier actually moved out there to try and protect. I thought he was going to go for a PC kill, but yeah, the assault rails want to stay out of range until, you know, where they can still hit, and the skims to stay behind them until the LAVs get into range to trade, and then the sand skimmers jump in there once the LAVs are on top of the assault rails. By the way, this base runner is actually still alive. This is kind of cheeky. And ref mode is done.
A lot of healing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I don't think I can kill this LAV though, can I? Well, especially not if he's got
Should
high
be able
ground.
to.
I do have armor 1 though.
If you get in there, you can do that.
Yeah. Well, A-Game, of course, is on 2 base already. He doesn't have any RU salves over there, but it looks like he wants to fill out his 3rd base first. But now it's kind of going to be a little bit of a race to get up onto 3 base here. But I should actually probably, like, looking back on this, I should be prioritizing getting another production cruiser, because if right now I can have 3 production lines to just kind of, like, chomp away at the LAVs, you know, get, like, a huge number of sand skimmers that I can deal with, then maybe I can actually pressure my opponent a lot here.
I think it's a bad idea because he's probably going to come out with something heavy that doesn't die to sand skimmers soon.
True. True.
Or, you know,
right
just
now,
more LAVs that would upgrade to that.
Let's see, if I can get the hill, this would be big. He doesn't have a salt pack yet, but it doesn't look like I have high ground. Well, I had high ground for a bit there.
The way the hills work on this map, I feel like LAVs can have, like, permanent high grounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I had high ground for like half a second there, but he had it for most of the trade, so he ends up getting quite ahead here. And all of a sudden, with the skimmer blob dying, this is quite bad for me. I am gonna get this rail, I guess, but that's about it, so... All of a sudden, this looks quite bad for me.
Yeah, I mean, you can clean that base up before he can respond.
Well, certainly not that. I can maybe get a couple of salvagers, but I shouldn't be able to clean up any bases here, I don't think. And the thing is, now that I have to... Yeah, go ahead.
Not clean up the entire base, but... Like, I think 2 salvagers were definitely possible there if you didn't get red blocked.
Possible, yeah, you're right. I actually ended up driving further in to try and catch, like, a railgun or something, but, I think I checked the carrier tech as well and saw there wasn't error before I went down here. And that's obviously pretty handy for me, because obviously I don't have to worry about getting, like, missile ships or whatever, but you can see I need to rebuild army, though.
Where you're floating RUs.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I need to rebuild army here.
Versus a composition like this.
I don't think necessarily inevitable here. Like, if I hadn't lost the skimmer blob, then I wouldn't need to build anymore, so I could just focus on salves to get 3rd base up, right? So I think the problem here is just losing them to those LAVs is just going to set me back too far. And I really need to go honor guard cruisers here too, I think, but that's going to be a long way out, because I'm still getting up onto 3 base. Especially if I start going for more skimmer ups here. You can see I'm getting the rating upgrade now. Still no tech choice from A-Game, by the way. I mean, like, Rails and LAV seem to be doing well here. Okay, I actually take it back. He just started up AAV Fab.
And he's got a support cruiser. So, yeah, he's moving out with his carrier now.
Is this that same base runner, by the way? I think it is.
Yeah?
I think it's lived from, like, the very beginning of the game here. Ooh, might die now, though. Can pop the heal again, but this is high ground LAVs. I don't think that's a very good trade for Bozo. Ooh. Yeah, and the Sub-1 rails have gotten up on that high ground too. So, like, I was mentioning this before, right, where he can get that high ground over my 3rd base. Once he gets that, it's going to be really, really hard for me to do anything because, obviously, well, I mean, I'm attacking up high ground. I shouldn't really have to explain it too much.
Yeah, there's basically nothing you can do at this point because he's got superiority vastly so on sand skimmers.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's no way you can catch the Saban railguns with anything slower than a sand skimmer.
Yeah, definitely. And so these assault rails here would be kind of nice to fight off the LAV, but like, what am I gonna do, right? Oh, I actually am gonna catch one with the skims. That's kind of okay. I didn't lose, I don't think, any more than like 1 sand skimmer right there. It's kind of interesting. A-Game is saying tech honor guard. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's tough though, because honor guard's gonna take so long, right? They're definitely the choice that I need here though. Targeting jammer drops out, catches the skims, but not gonna be a huge capitalization from A-Game off of this. But the more he can buy time and just be on this high ground here, the better things get for him, because eventually I'm gonna have to give up that 3rd base. Carrier will take a lot of abuse here too, which is obviously no bueno. I do have the upgrade advantage though. Maybe there's still a chance here, but this is definitely not looking good for me. Uh-oh, Skim's jumping up here to try and get a trade in a really bad time. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I'm almost tempted to say that skimmers should not be traded.
Yeah, no, I think that's true as well. I think maybe I'm feeling too much pressure, like I've got to get him off of here, but definitely that's the wrong move. Skim damage 2 gonna finish me, though I do have a couple heavy rails coming out now, which will be I don't know, I mean, I'm going to be fighting against high ground, so it's not going to be easy to make that work, but obviously they are going to be sort of nice. And it looks like AV tech here for A-Game actually is just to get the armor upgrades on the railguns, so... Although he is taking the BC fab now. Yeah, imagine if he has battle cruisers, that's going to be even worse for me. I do take a kind of decent trade against the LAVs, but then I over-chase them here, so I'm going to lose some more on the back end. This is a lot of Savon rails.
Yeah, and they're just going to take their toll on the sand skimmers.
Mark target there as well, obviously making the LAVs trade a lot better than they would have otherwise. So that was quite a nice move there. Salvager's now actually coming under fire, so it looks like I'm finally gonna have to agree I have to give up that third base there. Now he does have that armor upgrade, but I don't think that changes the breakpoints on like rail versus rail fights just yet. But he managed to get one kill there and I didn't, just because he has the more numbers here, so... I actually had high ground there apparently. Kind of surprises me, but he is gonna win the first rail trade as well here, so this is still looking very good for A-Game.
Does actually look lower, yeah. Although it's
that's kind of funny. Maybe if he's on the very crest, he'd have high ground, but I think we wouldn't have range at that point. Assault rails here gonna try to trade in for something. This doesn't look terribly convincing though. So they're gonna go down there. And yeah, look at this. I'm gonna try to move the carrier off to my opponent's third base. This is usually a sign that I'm feeling the pressure here. Basically saying like I'm gonna lose the game if this keeps up, so we'll go for a base trade. Otherwise, I've already lost, right? But actually, he has some AVs now, and mixing AVs in here is a really nice choice because the sand skimmers can't deal with this. So the railguns have to turn their attention on the AVs, which means that the rails of his are never going to be shot at. In this case, it doesn't even matter though. It looks like these AVs are actually just going to get up onto the railguns here. And yeah, they're going to clean up all those heavy railguns on their own. And now the Galzian carrier feeling a little bit like it's in an island too, so that's obviously not ideal. But you can see those AVs with their tankiness just push the rails so far out. Actually managed to kill them too, they didn't even have to. Galzian carrier never going to be able to make this base trade work, and that will be the game for A-Game. He takes this one 2-0. Final eulogies? Final thoughts? I think for sure this game illustrates you can't lose the skims.
Once you get behind, like I think you can just tell how far behind the Galcian player is in a game by how high their RU float is.
Yeah, because if they're being forced to rebuild all these skims, they just float like a huge number of RUs that they can't spend, and so their money doesn't even seem that good. So even if you're on like 3 base, you know, you're kind of behind anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think for sure though, this should be a... How do I say? What am I thinking here? This should be an example of like why honor guards are really a good choice if you fall behind in like the strikecraft number, because they can counter the rails too, whereas your skims may not be able to do that for you. At any rate, gonna be pretty nice for A-Game. He does go, I believe, 4-0 so far then in the group stage, right? Yeah, because we've cast all of his games except the one against you actually at this point. So A-Game feeling pretty nice with his 4-0 here. And I think we'll move on to cast that one next, but thanks guys for tuning in. Let's get on to the next one.